I love doing boot reviews on a warm day because right now, down below, got my sock. So I'm just standing in a nice dry parking lot on a sunny yet windy day, and we are reviewing the Ride 92. And one of my riders rode this last year and liked it. And I got a taste this year. It's a new boot. It's kind of an expensive boot, but it's got a good flex. It's got good ankle articulation right here. It's got a good kind of like medium soft flex, I would say. And it's got a very friendly park ride. It's a double boa with a strap. So it's kind of got an interesting thing going on here. This just basically, as far as I know, the way it's routed here, it seems to just handle this very top part. This handles the middle, this Velcro here. And then you have underneath this zip, you have another boa here on the bottom. So you've got nice separation between upper, lower, and middle. And that's good. Along with ankle articulation, you know, like with the stiffer ride boots, like the Trident I was riding the day before, on the forward flex, I felt like this pushed down and really bothered the roof of my foot. It didn't bother it to where I had to stop riding it for the day, but it did cause a little disturbance there, and it made me wonder if I was going to win over time or the boot was going to win. And based on that tongue, I thought maybe the boot would win because it's a really strong tongue. This has more of a softer tongue, and you know, I rode it a whole day, and I normally don't do that with boots, and this was just comfort, instant comfort from day one. It's really easy in and out. It's really clean. It's just got this Velcro tie here, and take a look on the table. We'll get into more like in-depth review on that there. You know, it's got kind of like decent shock absorption on the sole here, and kind of a minimalist feel about right in this region here, where it feels like you've got a lot of, like a little more skate-like here, but with a touch of shock absorption in the heel, so it feels okay. But it's definitely not like, you know, in the upper tiers of shock absorption. It felt pretty hard. Like when I'm stomping down with my left, it's feeling a little hard. It doesn't feel like it's the ultimate dampness, and it felt very similar to how the Trident was set up in terms of sole. But hey, look, you got Michelin rubber here. The traction is exceptional. It's the kind of boot, we had some icy lift lines, and yeah, an ice is never easy, but this sole worked really well with the icy conditions, you know, icy skating. So that's good. This little zipper thing's a little weird, and I don't know how I feel about it, but it's not bad, and it's nice to have this boa protected a little bit, because those cables can be possibly be cut if you rest, you know, your edge on that. So it's nice to have just a little protective layer there. Again, I like the ankle articulation. I like this nice backstay, kind of like it's very similar to the Trident. So the longevity of flex with this boot is going to be good. And Ride just builds a good boot. You know, I like their boards and bindings, but their boots to me just really shine. And the 92 kind of has that, you know, freestyle, you know, it kind of feels like all mountain freestyle to like even jib if you want, you know, because it's got that real easy forward flex, but yet it had enough response for me to have really a lot of fun riding like mountain freestyle twins. And you know, it felt fine. It was funny, it felt fine on the Machete GT, and then it felt fine on you know, the Ride Kink. And I could ride both boards with these boots, and they seem, you know, I got some dirt on them. Let me polish that toe for you here. but this toe is nice. It's not, the toe box isn't super strong, but it's got nice durable rubber, and these boots look like they're just made to last. You know, well, I wouldn't mind seeing a little more shock absorption, especially in the heel of the, you know, the Trident and some of their other, you know, some of the stiffer, more all mountain oriented to free ride oriented boots. I think this shock absorption is fine, especially if you're kind of looking for more of a skate-like feel. And if you pair it up with Ride's bindings or a good soft shock absorbent binding, you know, I feel like the Ride Rodeo or something like that, I feel like it's going to be good enough, because that soft EVA foam on their bindings is really good and really damp. So I don't think that's going to be a major problem. Or if you want to pair it up with something even really minimal like Flux or something, you could get a really skate-like feel. So all in all, really impressed with the on and off, really impressed with adjustability. I felt like the heel hold was good enough for me. I think maybe some of you guys out there who want that, like the ultimate in heel hold, you might like a different kind of double BOA boot, because this is separate from upper and lower. And so this lower, I think, grabbed around my heel well enough. But I think for some, because see, it kind of ends right here, and I felt like the routing was really good. So I think it grabs well enough around the ankle for many people. But for those of you who like that overlapping double BOA, you might like something like that better than this. But I felt like this did more than enough for me, and I'm not a guy who really freaks out over heel hold, but I felt like it was on the stronger side of the heel hold category. Also, the fit was perfect, and I feel like a size 9 fits true. It's definitely a little more on the narrow side when you compare it to like some of my favorite boots like Adidas and Burton. So if you have a little bit more of a narrow heel cup, and you know, and your foot isn't super wide, this Ride boot is pretty narrow. You know, Ride runs a little more on the narrow side compared to, you know, let's say Burton, Adidas, and 32 and a few of the others out there, where I think that can work for a lot of riders. It'll really help kind of lock in your heel. And I felt really good, like J-bars holding me in place around the heel, and I like this curve. In terms of footprint, I was a little disappointed when comparing. You'll see pictures down below in the body of the review. In the past, I remember Ride being the same size as Burton, and which is kind of like the leader, and nowadays Adidas in the size 9 to size 9. However, this size 9 was like about that much bigger than my Burton size 9, and even bigger than that was like more like that with my Adidas. So it's not as reduced as I remember. Maybe I, you know, got lucky with a pair of bindings, but I remember pair of boots. But I remember comparing these boots to a wide variety of other boots, and Ride was right there, same size or maybe even smaller than Burton, where both Ride boots that I tried for the 18 line are a little bit longer in footprint. However, they are narrow, they're super light, and they're super well made, and I'm really impressed with the Ride 92. And like all Ride boots, I find them highly recommendable. Even ones that aren't our favorites sometimes can be a favorite for you. But this 92 is definitely a favorite this year. It's definitely an amazing boot. And I think for those of you who are looking for simplicity and adjustability, the simplicity and just the ease of BOA, you know, no dragging laces, nothing like that. Yet, you know, the Velcro strap here, this BOA is separate from there. This is separate, this is separate. So you've got 3 adjusting zones. It's still not as adjustable as, let's say, traditional lace, which has way more advantages. But this gives you a little bit of that traditional lace feel, where you could just leave this loose and keep the Velcro here if you want a super skatey, really loose feel, or crank this down tight and really get some good you know, toe side response out of your turns if you want to ride the mountain. So that's why I feel this like really blends, you know, it's kind of a freestyle boot with a all mountain freestyle personality that I really like. And I felt it to be responsive enough and flexy enough wherever you need it. Responsive enough on the hill and flexy and forgiving enough in the park. So all in all, the Ride 92, I think it's a really well made, kind of medium soft flexing boot that's gonna have longevity and flex, a good fit for a narrower foot, and an all-around good ride. And I'm kind of like a medium wide foot, and it still fit me just fine. I had no complaints and liked it. I just wish, personally, from my perspective, I wish the footbed was a little softer, especially in the toe. The toe kind of front part of the foot, the ball of the foot, that region. I wish that was a little softer, but that's me personally, because I like more shock absorption than skate-like feel. But if you like skate-like feel, this will really be right up your alley. So there you have it, the Ride 92. Very well done.